Yeah, well, first I should say that it was getting to be now the early '80s, and my band, This Kids, was now the band. We were the band in town. There's another band called Incognito Rockers, who to this day I still think they were the greatest. But This Kids was popular because we were young and we were pretty. You know what I mean? And we'd have girls attacking us everywhere we went. And the guys knew that when This Kids played, there was always a ton of chicks, so therefore there's always a ton of guys, so therefore there's always a ton of people. When we played, it was like we were the guys.
You know, as we used to call it, Pat and I would call it, we were the kings of the one light bulb party. And it was literally, you'd go to somebody's backyard and there'd be one blaring light bulb, sometimes a flood, and you'd set up in front of it. And, you know, the music was great. The scene for us was great. And it was kind of that, you know, late 70s. So it's still kind of that transitional, dopey hippie stuff going on. And so we just kind of did our stuff. And then my memory of first getting together with Stevie, our first kind of practice, we kind of got together and jived, as Pat was saying. It was like, wow, this is really kind of fun. We were ready to kind of, you know, go to the next level, start a band. So our first official practice, which was at Pat's dad's industrial park where we had a space, I knew we were in a completely different scene because we show up with our gear, or I think our gear was already there. He shows up with 10 girls. And it's just like, this is a little different reference point than what, you know, the one light bulb party and all that. And it was like from there. And at that time, all four of us were from different cities, from Vista, Oceanside, Carlsbad, and Encinitas. So as soon as we played, you know, our first party, I think we only had maybe 4 or 5 songs. And then we kind of, you know, played them a few times. Joe James's house in Oceanside, and everybody had people, girls from their different towns show up, and it was just instantly a scene. And really, it was like right from the get-go, before we were even like formally a band, the scene was already there.
We loved UFO and Rush and all these bands, but UFO had a song called This Kids, which I think was a typo. I think it was supposed to be These Kids, but it was spelled Thiskids. And Greg knew that that looked like the name of like a band that would be like Let's Active, or one of these new wave bands that were coming up that had these weird names that didn't make sense. And he was smart enough to know early on, and as the music changed, This Kids sort of fitted in like we were these quirky, weird guys, when really it was the name of a UFO song. The Joe James Party right away was our first gig. We played 3 or 4 songs, and the next day we were legends. We were Carlsbad. Everybody was calling us, play my party, play my party, play my party. And we played like 4 songs or 5 songs, and the cops came. But it was that one gig, and we didn't want to do it. We were a little nervous.
As far as the singing goes, you know, my older brother turned me on to the Police, and the first time I heard Sting sing Roxanne, you know, it was like, damn.
I can remember being with you, listening to that.
I go, my boy.
He was the only guy that could sing it,
He's
too.
the only one who could sing Police, probably in all of San Diego.
So Stevie, being how Stevie is, we're going to jump all over that. So we covered all the songs. I did so many high songs, Journey. And
anything high and hard to do, we would do.
And then when my voice started getting a little raspy, you need to take voice lessons because... You know,
the
so
voice
he sent me over for voice lessons from Judy's old voice coach, and that was a whole nother story.
Oh, that was really fun.
We were the first guys that started touring. We started touring in Arizona and Arkansas and Texas. And my dad, God bless him, he bought me he co-signed for me to buy a big cube van, which we made into half of bunks and half for gear. And we traveled the country in it. I mean, we really got ballsy. I mean, we went out on the road, and by this time we were playing about half originals, half covers. And we'd play college parties, and we got written up in Rolling Stone in 1984, playing in Dallas, which was like mind-blowing. But the article wasn't about us. It was about Dallas, but we just happened to be lucky that we were the band playing at this really hip club, and they talked about us. And things seemed like it was really, really, things were going to work for us. Like we were going to get a record contract. We were talking to CBS Records. We were talking to people.
Growing up, Stevie was always like, I borrowed my dad and I took a loan out. We're getting a truck and we're going to go on tour. So we would like, get a gig one gig at a fraternity in Texas, and we just go out on the road for a month and find ways to get gigs. And back then, there wasn't really a rock school or anything how you would do stuff like that. So we're very entrepreneurial, which was, I think, how we all were raised that way, of making things happen. So we would just get T-shirts, albums, stickers, show up to a campus and play, and then meet somebody, and somebody would have to meet the girl with the extra big couch that we can stay on for the night, and then it would go from there. But we're always putting ourselves way out ahead of what we should be doing, rather than, and which was really pretty exciting.
But it hit me about 1984 that we didn't really have what it took. I'd seen a band called Gentlemen After Dark in Arizona, and a drummer named Winston A. Watson Jr. And I just said, these guys are so much better than us. They got image. We have image, but our image is, we're like small time guys in a little Carlsbad, California. Oceanside, California was like a cow town, kind of like, right? We had our own world, and we were cool, and we were laid back. But I was probably still wearing, an OP t-shirt. These guys came with their hair gnarled out, and they looked like, stiff baiters or some shit. And I realized, oh my God, I don't think we're going to make it.
The last kind of magic gig that we did that had that thing was Pat's 40th birthday party. And we've done things over the years, and then things passed, but that just happened to be the one time. And for some reason, of course, it was Relentless Stevie hammering, Paul, you got to come down. We're going to do some rehearsals. I'm like, I got a business and a family. I don't think so. Ended up coming down a couple of days on the Relentless hammering. We went over the songs, and it's still to this day. I was here a couple months ago, kind of hammered in a bar, and Stevie and I get pulled up there. He's giving me stink eye because I'm missing a chord change. Nobody can give a crap. Everybody's like, you guys are up there playing. That was so cool, Paul. And Stevie's just giving me stink eye. How'd you screw up the middle transition? You're always doing that. So it was that, but that particular 40th birthday party, and part of it was the room. It was in an indoor in a living room, and it was like all of those people that were there when they were 18 were now 38 or 40, and everybody looked the same. The house was filled with everybody from the day. And we were really tight and sang great, and the transitions were good, and Greg Hammond, the drummer, was just on. And so in a way, we've always kind of been always falling short, and I still think we have that gig or gigs left in us. I think we could actually, if we really sat down and got it together, because really as you get older, I don't think you get worse. I think you really get better. So it's still one day.